Okay, there we go. All right, so welcome everyone. Welcome to the Legacy Keepers. This is the space where we honor stories, we preserve wisdom, and we protect what matters most. I am your host, Zarina Elamine. I am a cultural anthropologist, a global storyteller, and the founder of the Legacy Keepers movement. So through this work, we help families and communities capture the life stories of their elders so that we don't lose that richness. We don't lose their insights and we don't lose the power of our people. So, this episode is a part of our Legacy Talks Masterclass series. And this is where we bring in some of the most powerful voices around the country and around the globe to expand how we protect and how we pass on our legacies. And today we're talking about some essential areas that everyone needs to consider when it comes to caregiving. All right. So whether you are actively caring for a loved one or you're simply want to be prepared, this is for you. All right. So my guest today is the incredible Terri V. White. She is the founder of a labor of love elder care education and consulting company. And she is the creator of the Aging Parents Project. Now, Ms. Terri is someone who has spent over 2 decades in the trenches of caregiving, both personally and professionally. She works with families, she works with leaders, she works with communities to bring clarity and peace to what can often feel like chaos. So, Ms. Terri, I want to welcome you to the Legacy Keepers. Welcome.
Greetings, Serena. Thank you for that wonderful introduction and thank you for having me here today.
I'm excited. When we were talking about this before from a caregiver's perspective, and I was learning about you and geriatric care as a whole, you know what? Let's just start with that caregiving and then geriatric care. Are they the same thing? What are we really talking about when we say this?
Oh, geriatrics, people think is the opposite of pediatrics. So they think pediatrics for young and geriatrics for old. But actually, gerontology is the study of aging across the entire lifespan.
Mm,
So, caregiving, as we know, is not just for older adults. Some of us care for our spouses, our siblings, our children, and some of it started at birth
mhm.
that we were caring for our person. It's not when they just became 90 years old. We've been doing this a very long time.
Thank you. That's absolutely right. So my focus a lot of times is like elder care, elder care, elder care. And the geriatric side is the elder care, but caregiving, what you're reminding us, is not always attached to age,
And
right?
it's not always attached. It's can be short term and it can be long term. And yes, it's not attached to age because I want to remind people that if you work in a safety sensitive title or you have an accident, you can need care just for a short period of time.
Okay. So now, when we talk about caregiving, we would say it kind of takes more than just love and desire, right? So, what do you feel most families get wrong or maybe overlook when it comes to actively caring for someone? And I guess I want to focus on the elders, maybe, because I feel like, here at Legacy Keepers, we're really focused on making sure that we preserve the stories of the elders as the top priority, but also understanding that none of us are promised tomorrow. So we all have a story and we better capture it today. But elder care is definitely one of our focus. So let's maybe keep that as the lens for caregiving for us today. So what do you feel like most families kind of get wrong or overlook when it comes to caregiving?
I don't know if it's a right or wrong. Um, the person is at the center. And the same way we say it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a team to care for a person. We don't do this by ourselves, or at least we should not do it by ourselves. It is not a healthy thing to do. So you have a whole team around you. right? You have, and I think that's what people really get wrong. Like, I have to do all of it myself. No, you do not.
But what about those people that, they may want to have a team, but it's kind of like it just fell on them and they are the only person doing it. And they're like, it's like they may be the only child or they may be the favorite niece or nephew of the aunt or someone. Like when it kind of falls all on you and you don't have a team, what happens then?
We have to expand our definition of team.
Okay.
And our definition of team is have a if they have an illness, right? The medical professionals are part of the team. If you have siblings, they could be part of the team. If you have children, they could be part of the team. My caveat with family members is everyone has a clear role when they're part of the team. So they get their roles and they stay in their lanes. You can have people from your spiritual community can be part of the team. There are professionals that are part of the team. And everyone is not part of the team every single day,
Mm-hmm.
right? They might have to step in and step out, or they are here for this part of the journey and not this part of the journey. So with your wealth manager, your accountant, your landlord, even. It could be a contractor that's part of the team that has to come in and do a modification of the home. Your attorney to make sure that your legal documents are in order. All of these people are part of the team. Um, to get social services. These agencies are part of the team, even for a small period of time. So we need to expand our definition of team. And it's not just you or a that's part of the team. The team is larger than that.
Mm. I have a friend right now. Her mother, excuse me, her mother stays with her, and then her husband's mother stays separately, but the kids, that she has like two boys, right? And so the boys are like running over there every day trying to caregive for their mother, like doing things, even cleaning her up
Mhm.
physically, cooking, buying all the things or whatever. And so what I hear you saying is that sometimes when people are doing too much, they need to maybe look out and see how they can build a stronger team around them.
And that and give people a clear role.
What kind of
Like,
roles?
so I take care of the health decision. Someone else may come and cook the food or do the shopping. Someone else may take you to doctor's appointments if necessary. Someone just comes and cleans the house. Think of us. We have a team, whether we believe it or not. We have a team,
Mm-hmm.
not just for work, but even to manage our households. Everyone has a role in the house, even children doing chores. Everyone has a role. So we need to think about what can someone do? How can you help me? The
Mm,
neighbors help out sometimes. Sometimes, if you have a loved one who is experiencing some level of cognitive decline and you don't live in the area, you need the neighbors to look out. So that's why I say expand your definition of team. And so that is that neighbor's role. So the neighbor's not doing anything else. Their role is to keep a watch. I see something suspicious, I call you. That's my role.
okay. So when you're working with clients, like, do you give them a list of, okay, this is how you want to plan for this, and these are some of the roles that you should try to get your team? Because I hear what you're saying, but it sounds like very utopia. It sounds like very dreamlike. Like,
Yes.
oh, I got a whole team. When a lot of the people I know ain't got no team. I mean, they may have a team. They think of the doctor, as a part of their team, but as far as everything else, they feel like it's all falling on them by themselves. So what do you say? Like, how do you prepare for this? Either if you're in caregiving or if you're just getting prepared, like, do you have a list of different roles or how to build a team, things you should think about?
Yes. So when we do an assessment of a client or a potential client, well, at that point, they usually are a client. We look at who's around you, what's important to you, and how they can become part of your team. How can we create a team if you don't have one? If you think you need to do it yourself, who can you bring on? That's how we take a look at. So let's take I'll take a client who does not have um, any biological children,
Mm-hmm.
so they're a solo ager. However, they have church family, they have godchildren, they have people of they are part of the community at large.
Mm-hmm.
So they have taken different people. So the church comes in, they give communion, they read the Bible, they check on her, they make sure she gets back and forth to service on a Sunday. That's their role. She has a power of attorney who looks out for some of the other pieces for her. They manage the bills, they manage the household. She has me. I contract with different service providers. I manage those service providers. I manage her doctor's appointments, all of those things. She's also a landlord. We have to manage the tenants. You know, the tenants are also have a role because the tenants are in the building. So they look out, right? Because if someone doesn't have care or does have limited hours of care, and you live in the same building with them, you don't want anything to happen to them, right? You don't want them to leave a pot on the stove, right? So you're constantly checking because what happens to them can also affect you, right? So that's how we create the team. We do it through an assessment,
Okay.
and every individual is different because you have different people around you. Someone else might have 7 children. You might have four, four siblings. Someone may have children who are uh, incarcerated,
Mm-hmm.
substance misuse users. They're long distance. Their children have predeceased them. There's all types of scenarios. So we have to look at what do you have, and then we say, okay, based on these people around you, we can assign them different roles. Or first, you have to ask them if they are willing to be a part of your team.
I love this
That's another
because
key question.
I love it because, like I said, a lot of my friends and people that I know in my age bracket, like I'm 45, right? And so a lot of my friends and a little bit older are starting to either have parents who are older and are
Hmm.
having to jump into caregiving, or even some of my friends who are grandmothers and grand uncles and such. Some of them are caregiving for some of their disabled children and such. So they're
Hmm.
elderly and then they're still taking care of their children and things. So let's jump to your company though, because I kind of want to get a better understanding of what your field is and how someone actually like engages in this type of field. Because I didn't know it existed, to be honest. I never even knew that there were people that I could kind of hire to do some of this. So your company is called A Labor of Love, Elder Care, Education, and Consulting. And then you have this
Hmm.
project, right, called the Aging Parents Project. So tell me a little bit about like what that means, what the company looks like, what it does, and then I want to know how you got actually into this whole thing.
Sure. So at a labor of love, elder care, education, and consulting, like we believe that caregiving and agent preparation like requires, as we were just talking about, like structure, strategy, and support.
Okay.
That is what we need. So we have a framework, and I consider myself an aging parents project manager. In the field, we are called geriatric care managers. That is, I don't particularly like the term. A lot of people doesn't know what that even means. I treat, or we treat everything like a project. Your aging loved one is the project,
Mm-hmm.
and we basically try to focus on prevention versus crisis management. So we ensure basically that all decisions that are related to your aging loved one are organized, coordinated, and proactive. We prefer them to be proactive, even though that's not how it always ends up or how it always begins. We work with financial planners, CPAs, elder law attorneys, discharge planners in hospitals, HR departments, and a host of other professionals because, as I said, we have a team. So we refer services back and forth. We help you protect your assets as you talk about legacy and either create and or maintain a legacy. And how we do that again is through that assessment. We figure out what it is that you need. Some people take that assessment and go about their business and put their superwoman or superman cape on and implement that by themselves. Other people say, okay, that's great. I need you to help us in these areas. And other people say, you know what? I have the money. I'm going to throw the money at this problem. You handle it. And so that is some of the ways that a labor of love elder care engages
So
services for older adults.
are people, they're all paying you privately, or does insurance also cover like your service?
They they are paid privately for services. We take long-term care insurance for
Okay.
those who did the planning to purchase long-term care insurance back in the day. Their long-term care insurance covers the services. For those who um, had cash value life insurance, they use that also um, to pay for services. And then there are other people who have just they have saved money or invested money, and their financial planners, wealth managers are managing that part, and we use that money. They use that money to pay us.
All right, beautiful. Okay. So I'm understanding it more. I'm understanding it more now. Because like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I was a caregiver for two parents and I didn't really know a lot. I didn't know a lot at all. We kind of relied on what the social workers at the hospitals told us, and that was a very limited amount of information. And
Mm-hmm.
what I learned years later was that there were additional resources and things
Mm-hmm.
that we could have gotten that would have made it a lot easier for us, but we weren't aware
Mm-hmm.
at that time. And I know, when we're talking about caregiving and such, there are a lot of key areas that we need to plan for, right? When you talk about making sure you have people in all of these different roles, well, the first thing I hear to be is don't try to go into caregiving by yourself. Like really identify how am I going to create a team of folks around me and be intentional about asking for help, which can be difficult for some people, asking for help. And even sometimes you have family members who you think are going to help you and they're not helping. So that comes up with a lot of stuff too. But having that team in place and then preparing. So earlier you mentioned things like power of attorney. You talked about financial things that some people put into place to kind of pay for some of their aging care and such. So let's take one of those sides. Let's talk about finances for a moment because I think like this is a really big, big thing. So how does we know people go broke caregiving? Like we know that without a doubt. Like people end up spending, all their money is just it's a thing. So what should families do to protect their wealth in this, aging period of life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I tell people start early, right? You're 22, start putting money away. I mean, for yourself. But one of the buckets to put money away for is not just a luxurious retirement someday where you sailing around the world, but it's as a
Why you say
contingency
that? Because
plan.
that's my goal right there. She said that's
But that's your goal, right? That's your goal,
yeah.
right? But now we need to have a contingency plan just in case something happens along the way for you or for someone else. Because as I said earlier, this is not just about when you get 90,
Hmm.
right? I have a client who was driving across country. He was moving from the East Coast to the West Coast. The wife went with the kids. He had the oldest son in the car. He was driving. Matter of fact, he was, you know, in the Chicago area, Chicago, Detroit. I don't remember which side of the lake he was on. He ran out of gas, was walking down the highway, got hit by a tractor trailer.
Wow. And
He's
survive.
young. Yes, he survived, but he had a traumatic brain injury. So, they had to fly him to the hospital, all of the things. So he's a young person. So
Mhm.
what did he have in place? Right. So what did his parents have in place? Was he working? So I want people that's why I say to save early. We have try to see what type of life insurance you can get. Start buying babies life insurance, whole life insurance policies when they're born, especially when they're under 14 years old. So, because it's called life insurance, right? It's not a death benefit, it's life insurance so that you can use the monies from it while you're living. So, that's why we have to have a discussion around what's the appropriate life insurance for you, right? That's one way to save. Another way to save, people are investing. We invest in all sorts of things. So, we're investing for now and we're investing for the future, right? So you need to save money. There are no health insurance. I don't care who you work for. I don't care what your job title is. I don't care how much money you make, unless you have an appropriate long term care policy or you have Medicaid that will pay for 100% of your home care, period. Now, I live in New York. New York, California, there are other states, they have more lenient Medicaid laws than other states. So that is another way to pay for it. And then and there are ways, do you have to be able to qualify to become eligible for those services.
Real
So
quick on that though, because I've heard of some people like intentionally, making sure that assets are in children's names and things like that so that their income is at a certain level so that they can actually apply for the service
correct.
and stuff.
Correct. So, and that is, again, that's part of the team. So now you have the financial person working on the financial part of the team. And then you have the legal person working on the legal part of how to do that legally, right? So, through the different types of trusts. So, there are more than 20 different types of trusts, right? And one of them is a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, right? So you work with your attorney, you work with your wealth manager or your accountant so that you're able to qualify for these things. But again, so you're paying the attorney, you're paying the wealth manager. But I tell people the money that you're spending now as to what it's going to cost you later on when you, as you said earlier, go bankrupt or lose everything is worth it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
some people don't have it at all. Now that's very clear. But those that have it, um, that is a way you can choose to spend your money, opposed to, some other ways. There are people
That's
who have said to me, like, they didn't want to spend their parents' money because they didn't want to squander their inheritance. So, but that's what they saved their, I hear all kinds of things. That's what they saved their money for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they saved their money for. You
Mm-hmm.
need to save your own money.
Right.
So they
Right. The
prepared for
money is
their care.
not to take care of you when they're gone. It's to take care of them while they're alive. Like,
Correct.
God Almighty, some little selfish little crumb snatchers.
Yeah, but this is how, this is what people believe.
Mm,
Again, these are some of the things that we have to work through, and that these are the thoughts that are running through people's minds as they're caring for somebody.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We have a client, Dr. Anissa, who's here, and she's a part of Legal Shield. And I would just say, if anyone's interested in like the legal side, I'm sure you have folks that you can recommend. But I also use Dr. Anissa for the Legal Shield side, where they help you get your power of attorney paperwork and all of those things set for you. But what I hear you saying is like, prepare, right? Prepare, right? So we've talked about the financial preparation and some of the legal preparation, but what about like the environmental side of it? Because I remember you saying something about safety and like, homes and
Yes.
stuff. So what does that
Yeah.
really mean when we talk about the environmental side of caregiving?
Okay. So before I get to the environmental, let me say this about the legal. Your your legal documents need to be done in a very specific manner.
Okay.
That because I go to courts at least twice a week, contest where there are documents that were created that do not have the legal language that is necessary to protect some of the assets in the future.
Mm,
Okay. And because these banks, these insurance companies, they have a very specific language that needs to be in these power of attorneys. Very specific language. And there are these modifications that need to be included in these documents. And we see these documents and they're not there. So it creates a whole unnecessarily long and expensive legal process.
mm.
So I want to say that because
Yeah,
I
that's
see these
critical.
documents on a regular basis and I go, okay, here we go again.
So you're saying like some people think that they're preparing, but then in actuality, they weren't prepared properly.
Mm-mm. They're
Which
not prepared properly.
okay, before we go,
So they
yeah, go ahead.
so so we have to have that power of attorney done. We
Mm-hmm.
need to have that healthcare proxy completed. If you have assets to protect, we need whichever appropriate trust uh, for you, right? Some people have children with special needs. We need to protect those people as well, right? So you might need a special needs trust and another type of trust, right? One to protect the child and one to protect you. So we need to um, we need to take a very detailed look at the larger picture. So I'll say that. In addition to that, in some states we need a HIPAA authorization, and in all states you need that, but in some states you need a permission to dispose of remains form as well. Like you have to have permission to dispose of someone else's body.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you need your last will and testament,
Mm-hmm.
and you need a living will. So all of it is a package that the attorneys put together. And you can do them separately, but it is a full, complete package based on you as an individual, not a group.
So
Um,
do you say we should have that? I mean, I know it's kind of like today, right? So every adult, I would say, I guess.
Anybody over 18,
Uh-huh.
because the laws have changed. If you're sending your child to school, college, right? We're getting ready. Everybody's doing college tours now. You get ready to send your child off to college. The laws have changed where even though you pay the bill,
Mhm.
you can't call and get any information on that child from the school unless you have permission. So there are lots of things that change,
Yeah.
right? So I said someone posted that everyone over 18 needs a will. Uh, I would disagree with that
Mm.
because that is just one of the documents that you need,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I don't even have to know you and I can contest your will.
Interesting.
So that's a whole thing.
This
It's
legal side can get deep, but what I hear you
it's
saying
very deep.
that it's individualized. It's not like a cookie cutter approach.
No,
Like
it's
you
not.
really got to sit down, look at what's going on in your own individual family, your own individual life, your own situation, and create a customized plan for
Absolutely.
yourself. Okay. I want to go back though, because I want to make sure I get some of your story of how you actually got into this work, right? Because this is a very interesting, I think, field. Um, as I said, I didn't really know it existed. I wish that I had known it was existing while I was a caregiver. I would have employed someone like you that would have saved us a lot of headache and a lot of time and such. Did not even know it existed, right? So how did you
Hmm.
get into this area?
Well, I was a caregiver for my grandmother, my father, and my aunt concurrently,
Oh,
right? While I was a worked for New York City Transit and was raising children. My grandmother had no health conditions. She took no medication. She just became feeble, and she literally died of old age at 98.
mm,
Like I said, she took no medications. She had an ulcer. She could not eat spicy food. She could not take aspirin. That was it. My aunt, her daughter, on the other hand, had every health condition. She had pulmonary issues, she had cardiac issues, and we all lived in the same, excuse me, in the same house, in the same structure, right? On different floors. And my aunt swore she was taking care of my grandmother, but in essence, I was taking care of both of them. My aunt was taking all kinds of medication, and my aunt died right after my grandmother, same year,
mm,
about 4 months later. My After my grandmother transitioned, my aunt, I noticed that she had swelling, edema, and so much so she wouldn't go to the hospital. So much so that her fingertips were starting to split,
mm,
and the liquid is oozing out. So I actually called Adult Protective Services on my aunt, right? Because, I'm a mandatory reporter. You can't do this on my watch. So I had her, they came, they evaluated her. She went to the hospital for them. She wouldn't do it for me,
mm,
right? So, and then my father, so she actually transitioned right after. My dad had renal failure. That's what he was experiencing. And he also began to experience uh, Alzheimer's. He
mm,
was actually diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So, since he had the renal failure, he ended up in a skilled nursing facility. So, how I got into it then, I started by doing paperwork for people because my father owned a business. And people were like, "So, how is your father in a hospital? He owned a business, he owns property. Who's paying for all of this?" And, because we had done the trust, the Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, he was eligible for different levels of services. Um, so that's how I kind of got fell into it because I started doing the paperwork for other people. So my mother would say, they would ask my mother questions. And because she was a community advocate, she would be like, I don't know, ask my daughter. So people started asking me. I would come home from work and there would be notes on my card, notes in the mailbox, all kinds of things. So I began to answer people's questions. People started bringing me applications and different things. Can you look at this? Can you take a look at that? How can I do this? Do you have somebody that could do that? And that's basically how I got into it. And my neighbor, I would say, like a, just curious, nosy neighbor. He said he's uh, um, as he was going to temple on Saturday, he said, I would see these older people coming in and out your house on Saturday morning, well, like what's happening? And I told him, I said, oh, they come to get their questions answered about different things. And he said, that's a thing. And I was like, huh? And he said, yeah, geriatric care management is a thing. And I had already had a undergraduate degree in human services. So I looked into it. So he worked in the court system. So he knew the people who would come in front of him, that was supporting older adults. He worked in surrogates court. So he knew who was coming in and advocating for different people. And I ended up going back to school. That's how I actually started the business because
Wow.
I needed services and I also was helping others get services. So he was like, you might as well. So once I retired, I started the business.
Wow. So very organically. So it came out of like your own experience, right? And then other people looking at your experience, needing your help, and then starting this business out of it. Wow.
Hmm.
And you put together a document for us. I'm actually going to drop that into the link because you have a document for us here. You have a gift for us. Thank you so much. It
You're
is
welcome.
40 essential documents for caregiving and crisis planning. So this is a
Yep.
free document that they can download, right? And that's going
Mhm.
to get them ready and prepared. Is that what's in the essential documents?
Yes. So, and then I'm gonna answer your environmental question. So, yes, in order to go to an attorney, go to accounting, go to anywhere, there are documents that you have to have to prove who you say you are and that you are the legal owner of what you say you own. And I find when I do an assessment that my team sees there are people whose names are incorrect on their birth certificates, who don't know where their birth certificates are. They can often get the title of their home. They divorce decrees, immigration papers, the papers on their pets, because everybody has a pet now,
Yeah.
the information on their pet. And I also want to say there is a legal thing called a pet trust. Okay,
Okay.
that's a real
See,
that's a
that's the
real
New
thing.
York, that's y'all Manhattan stuff. We don't do that down here in Detroit.
I
Our
live in
dogs stay
Brooklyn.
outside.
I live in Brooklyn. Dogs stayed outside too when I was a kid, so I do understand. Um, but yeah, these documents, if you're going even for social services, going to um a hospital, you need to know the medications that you take. You need to know if you own properties, like who are the lessees and what's the amount of rents that they pay.
So you
Are
put
you a
all of
veteran?
this in that free download, all of these different
Yep,
things.
it's all listed. It's all
Okay.
listed there.
Okay. So I dropped the link you all inside of the chat, and then I'll come over to Facebook after this and drop the comment there as well for you all to be able to go and download that list. I'm definitely going to download it because now I'm preparing to make sure that I'm not a burden on my kids. You know what I mean? Like they're little right now, but I learned you got to stay prepared. You got to stay prepared. But we only have about 9 minutes left. So I'm going to push the environmental thing to they can go get your link, right? And if they have any additional questions, they can schedule a consultation or something with you because I want to see if there are any questions here within the Legacy Keepers members. So, do you all have any questions that came up for you all surrounding the caregiving, either preparing for to take care of someone that you love or just preparing like I'm preparing for myself later on. So if you can raise
You could raise your hand, that would be helpful. And these documents are not just for caregiving. So there's been storms that came through the South within the last week, right? These
yeah,
tornadoes and stuff. So in order for you to go to FEMA, in order for you to go to your insurance company to get the house fixed, if something happened to your property, if something happened to your car, you have to prove that it's yours, right? So you have to give these documents to, so we say to have the documents tangibly, but also have them in a cloud. Like right now, we are on social media.
mhm,
So we also need to have our passwords list somewhere.
yeah,
So
yeah,
someone can get into your digital assets as well. A lot of us, we do banking, we pay our bills, all sorts of things online. So we have to think about that. We have cryptocurrency, like who's, we have to think about these things. It's not just for caregiving purposes. It is for so that we can get the resources that we need for whatever situation that we're in at the time.
stay prepared so you don't have to get prepared, right?
That's
That's it.
yes.
All right, so I see we have a question. I'm going to let you unmute yourself and then give us your name, please, where you're joining from, and then your question.
Okay, thank you. I'm Naomi Feast, Raleigh, North Carolina. Thank you for the workshop. Even though I got in a little late, it's amazing information. So thank you so much. I clicked the link, the HTTPS I guess that's what it says 40 dash docs. And when I clicked on it, it took me to
Oh, got it.
something.
I see it. Yeah, just continue to the destination. That means there's a break in that link. So just
Oh,
continue to the destination.
okay, I'm gonna try it again because something popped up and wanted me. It was like a $17 fee for something, and
Nope,
I just
nope, yep,
back out of
that's,
that.
yep, yep,
I'm
you
going to
back out
actually
of
So,
that.
copy the direct link too, and then I'll put it into the chat. So,
okay,
um,
continue to destination. Is that what I should do?
Mm-hmm.
Not download. Oops, it went
You
away
could,
before
or
I
you
could
could do
click
the
it.
free download, and if you click the free
Get your free
download after,
download now.
yep,
Okay,
and it'll enter your
and
name
I
and your address,
okay, I put in my name, email address. Get your free
and you
guide
should be good to go,
now. Okay,
perfect. Did
and
you
okay.
have
you'll
a
get the
question?
download.
Did you
Now,
have
so
a
what does this say?
You have
40
another,
documents
yep,
guide. It says subtotal $17.
wait,
nope.
wait, Sister Naomi, Sister Naomi, do you have
Yeah.
Do you
something
have
to
a
tell
question?
about like caregiving and such? And I can
Oh,
help.
I'm sorry. No, no, no. I don't have. So I'm sorry
Okay.
for holding you. Thank you.
No problem. I just want to make sure that we get the questions in through the time because Miss Terry got she didn't had like 59 calls
I
while
got you.
she was on
Thank you. I'm
phone.
sorry. Go ahead
No,
on.
you're welcome. You're welcome. If you have any problems with the document download, let us know later and then we can make sure you get in. Um,
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for being here too. Okay,
Sure.
anyone else have any questions surrounding caregiving and preparation and such? Or if you have one takeaway as well that you want to share with Miss Terry, we can do that.
Somebody put
Well,
that in the chat.
okay, thank you. I put the other link there too.
I answered
Um,
her.
Okay.
I just, this is Anissa.
Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you for the workshop and also thank you for mentioning the fact that we can help also with the legal side of things. We do have the ability to do that, and I just put my contact information in there if anybody would like to contact me or just arrange a few couple of minutes on the legal side of things. What you said, Ms. Terry, is so important. By the way, I'm a native New Yorker. I live in Arizona now, but I'm a native New Yorker. um, what you said is so important, and I so appreciate that you are coming from the prevention, the early intervention, the be proactive side, because most of us wait until it's too late. And things like getting our will prepared and things, we can't get them done if we're not of sound mind and body, even. So the earlier we get it, the better. So thank you so much for making that point and sharing all the different aspects with us.
Beautiful.
You're welcome, Dr. Anissa. I see there's a question in here from Zenoria. Any suggestions for reverse mortgages? So that is, yeah, she raised her hand. Okay. So um, that is also an individually tailored piece around reverse mortgages, right? Um, are you taking the money out to, we didn't even get to the environmental piece. Are you doing a reverse mortgage? Can you do a HELOC? Can you do something else? Just take the equity out of the home if you're looking to modify the home, to expand the bathroom, do a no barrier uh, entry shower, to put a ramp in if necessary, to do whatever move a bedroom downstairs, or to create a ensuite. You can there might be something else for you to do before the reverse mortgage, and um like everything else, a reverse mortgage has pros and cons.
Mm,
They are not best for everyone.
absolutely.
It would take a look to see what is the larger plan for the property later on. Are you going to take that money to buy something else? Are you taking that money to buy life insurance, like a large policy life insurance that will then cover that? Like there's a whole conversation
Yes,
that I would offer that needs to happen before just signing a reverse mortgage. Like, what
yes.
is the goal? So, like, let's start with the end in mind and work backwards. That would be my suggestion around a reverse mortgage.
I asked that question because I really had a really horrific experience with it because my mother had gotten it prior to, and I had with the second top PHH. They're the second top mortgage giver in the country, and I had to go to court. Of course, they
Mhm,
didn't think I would win, but I did,
mhm,
which is unbelievable, but it happened because God was there.
mhm,
And I'm just saying that we need to educate all
mhm,
of our people
mhm,
about these reverse mortgages because we think it's a free ride.
mhm.
And we really need to know. And I was really educated about that. And I think it's
Mhm,
something that everybody needs to know.
mhm,
Mm,
mhm.
Yes.
thank you. I'm sorry that you had to deal
Yes,
with that, but I'm also glad that you were
that
able
you were
to share and
a
you were
champion,
right,
and that you
Yay.
persevered, and that
Yes.
you won.
and that she won.
So
Yeah.
yes, that is a thing. As I said, I'm in the Republic of Brooklyn, and reverse mortgages uh is one of the pathways that led to gentrification
Yes.
here in Brooklyn. Not having your documents in order is
Okay.
another pathway to gentrification here in all of the urban cities, not just New York
Mhm.
City.
That's right.
Um, so that's why these things are absolutely important. Having tangled titles is another pathway to the gentrification. So there are a lot of reasons, and that's why I say there's a lot that goes into this, and that's why um your assessment is tailored for you and your family and your particular situation, as an individual. The same thing with your legal paperwork. An attorney, a spouse, husband and wife, husband and husband, wife and wife, you and your spouse could have two different pathways to your legal documents because your own different sets of things and your finances are different, your setup is different, you might be part of a blended family. Everything is individually tailored.
Wow, this has been an amazingly eye-opening conversation for me. I think for all of us here. So, Ms. Terri, I want to thank you so much for being with us here today, for sharing all of this amazing information. And for those of you who want to contact Terri later, go to download her document, the 4D document. She's giving to us for free. Right. So she is actually gifting that to us. So make sure that you download that. I put it into the Zoom chat and then I'll put it into the Facebook comments as well. But all of your contact information is on your document, right? Is that correct?
Yes, and also on Instagram, we are a labor of love elder care on Instagram. So you can follow us there, and also the link I believe is there as well. You can schedule a consultation there, or you can schedule actually a discovery call there. You can send us a DM. You can get other information about some of the things that I just talked about. We are in the middle of May. May is Older Americans Month.
I
So there
totally
is,
forgot about that, but that's so
to
true.
May is Older Americans Month. Yeah, so there's information there around, older Americans. I just want to say to all of you that we are all aging. Um, don't give up on your hopes and your dreams. There is still time. You still have breath of life in your body. So for those of you that are in your program that are writing, know that you are writing about the past, but you're also creating your future simultaneously. Um, and that every aspect of your life is part of your story. Your medical history is part of your story, right? It's not just the photos and the memories and the recipes and all of those things. What the properties that someone has sacrificed and purchased is part of your story, right? We want to continue that story. So just think of that also in a broader sense, just like I asked you to think about your care team in a broader sense. Think about that your story, each aspect of your life is part of your story.
Absolutely. And I want to say, all of us here within our work with the Legacy Keepers, we have adopted the mindset of team no excuses, meaning that we are action takers. We are people who see a need and we fill it. We're people who see something that needs to happen and we do it. So I'm going to encourage all of you all, especially our legacy keepers here, but anyone who is listening to this as well, to take action on something that you heard today. So it may seem overwhelming to do all 40 documents or such at once, but you can get started with identifying someone that you want to be on your caregiving team. You can get started with identifying someone, a lawyer or such, that can help you put your power of attorney together or your trust or something together. Like, get started doing something, right? Get prepared, get started, take a baby step today. And that baby step will build momentum so that your things are in order before it becomes a big, big, big burden or such. So, Ms. Terri, I just want to thank you so much. I appreciate you for giving us the time. I appreciate you also for giving us that 40 documents, essential documents download, because that is going to save that alone right there. I mean, that is like decades of work put into one central download that people can access. So I'm just saying, you all make sure that you go and download that 40 essential documents sheet, because it's some deep work, but you want to be able to stay on top of it. So thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. I'm actually going to cut it here for the Zoom, for the Facebook folks. And then you Zoom people, stay here because we have a couple of minutes and I'm going to answer your questions. But Miss Terri, you are free. Love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zarina.
You're welcome. All right. Hold on, you guys. We're going to get started here. Let's stop sharing it out and stop. You can either stop. I don't know if we're still live on Facebook or not, actually. So hold on. Then I'm going to answer any of you all's questions. Here as well. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see. Are we still live on Facebook or did it? Yes, stop live stream. There we go. Now I know how to do that. All right, so you all, wasn't that amazing? Like that was great. I want to hear, wait, Miss Terri is still here. So I want to hear like a takeaway. You guys give me a takeaway. What did you take away from today's conversation? This class that we had around caregiving.
Essential.
Essential. Yeah.
Also, for me, it's a model that says that if you love a thing and you want to help other people, God will help you to do that. I mean, she is a God sent. And I'm
Thank
fired
you
up just
so
listening to her
much.
talk. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, because last little thing to her, I know you'll find this particular adage true. I've been out there trying to help, and I had my Muhammad speech way back in the day and whatever. But the people who need the help the most listen the least. And I'm gonna let you go on. That's right. That's some head shaking going on stuff there. You passed all them people and still found some good people. Goodness, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome, brother.
Yes, thank you so much. It was such valuable information, and the key point is how important it is to just prepare beforehand. So, things will be better because, it's whenever you have losses and any situations change, that can be so much stress in itself, but just being prepared can help to make things go much more just smoother, less stressful. So thank you so much for sharing, Miss Terri. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Sister
Yeah.
Nafisa.
Thank you.
Sister, you mentioned Medicaid protection or Medicaid asset protection.
Asset Protection Trust.
What is that? Is that a different kind of trust than just a
Yes, there are many different types of trusts. There are
okay.
trusts that you don't even know about. Okay. It depends on what you have. That is why I always suggest, like I have a list of attorneys in New York and other states. And they're for different, but people with different levels of assets. So if you just have a home, a pension, or this or that, you need one type of person. I have clients that were musicians, they're songwriters, they receive royalties. Y'all are gonna become authors. Are you gonna receive royalties for your writings? You have to begin to think about these things in a different way, right? Because now you have something today that you didn't have yesterday, and you need a different type of document to protect you. So who's going to get the 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 check because you are a songwriter and your songs are still out there? Like who? Like where does this go? Where does this money go? So we have to begin to think about these things differently and not things that are just cookie cutter. And cookie cutter things are for cookie cutter people. I don't believe that the people in this community are cookie cutter people. So you need specialized things.
Wow.
Good point. Anyone
Yeah,
else?
that's really something to think about.
Yeah. Sister Naomi, you got your papers in order? You got your documents?
I
Well,
actually have a trust, but I don't know if it's a Medicaid asset protection. It's a
Well, you
trust.
can you can click, you can schedule a 15-minute consult, and you once you know where it is.
Yeah, I have had an attorney to prepare it. I have the document here.
Right.
And
You can take a look at it, and I can also take a look at because each state has a different criteria.
right, and I'm in North Carolina. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I know
Mm-hmm.
of how this thing with Medicaid, because I had an aunt who had Medicaid. She had to sell all of her property,
Yeah.
everything, just to get into a nursing home.
Depends on your state.
So I
And
don't want that to happen to
remember,
me.
once your stuff is in a trust, your items are in a trust, they don't belong to you.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry, say that again. How come I can't-
The purpose of having a trust is that the items no longer belong to you.
That's right. They belong to the trust.
Correct.
Is that a
So
type of protection against the against Medicaid?
correct. So this way, when you do that, if your loved one had had a trust, she would not have had to sell everything because the items would not have belonged to her.
Oh, okay. I got it.
All right.
Yes.
So sound like you, Sister Naomi. She gonna be booking the call. Sister Sister Iola, did you have anything? I saw you came off mute. Did you want to say anything?
Yes, I had got legal shield from Sister Anissa.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to call. The only thing now that you're saying a trust, I'm going to call them back and see how I can get my belongings into a trust because, the time is going by. So I want to be prepared and I want to be my children not to have a headache.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the legal shield was right on point. That it's what I needed. I can call. I've called a couple of times and I've always got satisfaction. So, and you have to have an attorney. You have to have an attorney. You have to have an accountant. You have to have all of those things. So, yeah. But I enjoyed your talk so much because I have a friend that's old and her mother is old and she can't take care of her and she doesn't know anything to do, but nothing is in place. So I'm going to try to help her out just a little bit.
Give her that link, give her that link. And then the best thing to me, what I found is like, people have, when we have experts in the area, I don't try to figure stuff out no more. Like, because like literally even just putting together that 40 essential documents like takes years just to get all that information. So for me now, I'm gonna tell you, when there's some expert on some area, like I just let the expert, I just go to them and then it saves me a whole lot of time. I'd rather pay somebody a couple of $100 to do like some initial, consultation or whatever, and then I know what I'm doing versus me being stressed out, overwhelmed on Google all night trying to like watch these 59 YouTube videos and such. Like I don't do that no more. I've learned how, save myself.
And another thing is if you've saved your money for yourself, then I tell my children, what if I got the money, then that's what you use it for me.
Right.
I don't want to be in a house that you can't get a wheelchair in or you can't get into your bathroom in a wheelchair. That's not cool. Just come to see me wherever I am, wherever I can pay to be, and let that be it.
Yeah, you're right.
So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome so much. I appreciate you. Absolutely. And thank you for saving your money. And it's not always easy to save money, right? Because the older people, when we think about money, the older people, there was certain things that was easier to save their money. And like my mother never made more than $45,000 a year when she retired, right? However, she had amassed and saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. Well, one, she spent my father's money. That's number one.
She saved hers
that's
for 10
that,
years.
that's
All right.
that's number one. That's number one. He saved her money and spent his money. But also, my mother, my parents came through the depression, so my mother vowed to never be without. That was, and back then, if you talk to bank tellers, they will tell you there were people who made the least amount of money were the most consistent. They came in every week with their $5 or their $10 or their $20 and saved their money. They didn't even invest, but they saved their money. And also, we have to think about back then, there was double-digit interest, right? So they made a
That's
lot of
true.
interest on their money.
Yes.
You gotta, I have clients, they have 10, 12 bank accounts. Why? Because if they were giving away a blender, they would open a new account. So it was a different mindset then. So they saved their money. And my mother used to drill in me, why do you need two TVs? You can only watch one at a time. Why are you wasting that money on television? Why do you need? And it was a constant thing for her. It was like, why are you wasting your money? And it was, I remember when we bought this house, there was redlining. They never expected us to be able to pay off these mortgages. So for her, the times were different and her mindset was different about saving and about spending and about being a woman of color. Right. And it was just different. So I have that drilled into me about those things. So
A different
so
mindset.
very different mindset.
Yeah. Dr. Gwen, did you want to say something?
No, I just want to say, Sister Terry, you did a wonderful job. I really appreciate it because I can relate to everything that you said. Because when my great-grandfather passed and my mother was living and he died without a will with 10 children and we had heir property and she went through holy hell. And I started picking up things with her then and I started educating the family. We should have been millionaires because we had a very valuable piece of property. But I'm a first generation and the family were uneducated. So they didn't want to listen to me. But we were able to sell it and some of them put it aside. And my grandmother, she worked for the white people where she had worked for rich people, but she knew how to save. And she opened Exxon stock many, many, many years ago. If she's been living, she's been over 100 years old. So when I had to take over her affairs and got power turn and all that to help her out. And my biological birth parents, they wanted her money. I said, she worked for this money. So I took her money and took care of her until she died. And she was very appreciative of that. But if I hadn't had the knowledge and skills, she'd have been lost everything. So really, those wills, the trust is so important. I got my trust and will when I got divorced when I was in my 20s, and I get it renewed all the time. And I have one son, but I say he's not going to squander all my money. So you have to have those trusts and things. But I learned because my great-grandfather did not have that will. And I knew what my mother had to go through to try to get that land sold. And then I had to do it with the other side of the family. And we had 60 heirs for 9 pieces of land. So that's another piece really important too, is get that land straight if you have heir land. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for saying that, Dr. Gwen. I heard you say 2 things in there. One was you said your biological parents, right? So again, we have our biological families and sometimes the families that we are raised with, especially when you're from the South, right? There are people who are part of families they don't even know that they're not even biologically a part of, right? Because that is the family secret, right? But again, in order for you to protect them, those that you love, you have to have these documents in order,
Right.
because if you go into the court, they don't have a leg to stand on.
That's right.
Why? Because somebody always knows the secret. And once we go into the court, now there are different things that they have to uncover, right? And one of those things that's part of when the attorneys I know do your advanced directives packet is a family tree, because that becomes extremely relevant. Like you said, there's 10 siblings, some were deceased, some were still alive. Those were the deceased. Now you got to go down another level into their children.
Yeah.
Some are deceased, some are still alive. Now you got to go down another level to the grandchildren, and it becomes a nightmare.
Yeah. Then you have one in the family that's disabled that has to get Medicaid. So you have
Or
to make
you
sure
have somebody who is
Yeah.
who is like incarcerated,
Right.
or you have somebody like it just becomes a nightmare. So spend a little bit of money now because those legal fees that you encountered, that your family encountered, were ginormous.
Mhm.
And people say, oh, that's a lot of money for that. Well, what it's going to save is priceless.
You pay on the
You
front
know,
end or
the
the back
young,
end.
Right.
you're going to pay it on the front or you're going to pay it on the back.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
So thank you.
This has been amazing. Miss Terri, I just want to thank you so much for coming to the Legacy Keepers, for sharing with us so openly and honestly with all of the different things that come around with this. And like I always say, for us, our job here as Legacy Keepers is to take action, whether that's a big action or whether it's a small action. I don't care which one, but definitely do something, right? Do something. All right. So, okay, let's see. Does anyone, I think Miss Terri, we can actually let you go now. You can stay if you want.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I know you got a million people that was calling you. You told them 1:30. So thank you. I'll contact you right after with the link and such as well for you
Thank you to everyone who's here again that are creating and are maintaining a legacy in whatever form that you are doing that. So I appreciate all of you. Enjoy your Monday. I hope that all of you at minimum, follow me on Instagram at A Labor of Love Elder Care. You know, you can click the download. Of course, it's a business, so you'll see the download. It's an infographic. And yes, when she mentioned the $17, yep, you can get the workbook, which is an expanded workbook, but that you can actually write in for that amount of money. You can schedule a free 15-minute discovery call with me. You can then schedule a consultation. If you need an assessment, we can do it. If there's some organization or group that you would like us to present or speak at, we are available for that as well. And we are always open to partnerships if you are an accountant or something, some other professional, legal professional, provide social services for people, not just older adults. We are open to that as well. So enjoy the rest of your session and your time with with and discuss your books, get them done and complete. Make sure you come to that. What are you having, a boot camp tomorrow?
Yeah, little writing.
For that Pomodoro sprint so that you can write and continue to take action. So I bless all of you today that you live to a ripe old age, that you are prepared to live to that ripe old age. So no one has to worry about you. All they have to do is love on you and spend time with you, and don't have to worry about um, taking care of you in that particular sense. Um, yeah, in that particular sense. Also, I want to say to everyone on here that is a caregiver, something that I'm sure you don't hear often, and that is thank you.
Love it.
Thank you for being a caregiver, because it's a choice. We choose to take care of those that we love. Um, and we do it the best way we can. I just hope that I was able to give you some information that will allow you to make your lift a little bit lighter. So enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yay. That
Be
was
blessed.
awesome, you guys. That was awesome. I learned so much. I
I
learned
did
a lot.
too.
Yeah, learned a lot. Beautiful. So just to recap, for tomorrow, for those who missed the announcement, we're doing like a writer's sprint, a writer's marathon, if you will. So tomorrow we're gonna have a group writing session. from 10 a.m. Eastern time to 2 p.m. Eastern time. It is informal, but it's a container for you. So what that means is that we're going to be running it like in spurts. So writing time, and then we have a little discussion. Writing time, and then discussion. Writing time, and then discussion. So I'm going to encourage you all to drop in any of the time within the 4 hours if you can. If you can only come for, 30 minutes, drop in and then have that centered, focused time for that 30 minutes, right? Same Zoom link. So our same course class link is where we're going to be doing that. So it's not a class. It's a writing container time, right? It's a writing container time. All right. All right. So I'm a little bit close to time, but I want to see if there are any particular questions that you all have surrounding your work or anything that you need me to answer for you. Is everybody on target where they should be for this week? Any things that have come up that you need some massaging on? Any of those? Brother Nazim, I see you came off mute. Yes, sir.
Yeah, two quick things. Give me that time again. You said for tomorrow.
Yes, 10 a.m. Eastern time to 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, good. Now the other question is, I've gotten some stuff written up, but I'm
You
not
know I'm
past that
waiting for
stage.
you, Brother Nazim. Hold on,
I
hold
know.
on. 'Cause I want to see the stuff down on paper. You come diligently. You're always here. I love your action, but I'm like, I need to see the stuff on paper because I want
Right,
to
that's
read
what
the
I'm
words.
finna get the information from you to give it to you. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I got 4 things written up, and I haven't reached the stage of putting them in a PDF and sending them to you on the Facebook. So how do I get from have it's written up, it's ready to go, but how do I make a PDF out of it so I can send it to you all?
So you can, what is it written up in?
I read it. What do you mean, like WordPad on my computer?
Yeah, yeah. It's
That's
on,
what it's on.
okay. So you can just send that document. You don't have to turn it into a PDF. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it doesn't have to be a PDF. You can just send whatever the document is that you have, have there. You can, how to email a document?
Not really. I mean, I might maybe. How do you email a document?
So it's gonna take me a little longer than to ask your people around you if there's someone
Okay,
around you that can help you to email that document.
I'll
And
ask Google. Google can tell me, right?
yeah, YouTube can tell you. Google and YouTube can tell you.
Okay,
YouTube can walk you through a video. But what I want to do, I'm going to have you email it because I think that'll be easier for you than trying to upload it to the Facebook group. So the email you can use is just use this one,
okay,
Zarina at Book Power Publishing. Or just use the Legacy Keepers at gmail.com.
okay,
thelegacykeepers@gmail.com. And you can email your document there, and then we'll make sure. That way, the Fatima monitors that email too, so she
okay.
can get it. I'm excited for this, brother. I've been waiting. Like, hey, we gotta.
Hey, I tell you what, I'm not bragging, but it's worth the wait. Okay.
All right. Happy to hear it. Happy to hear it. I'm happy to hear it. All right. Everybody else good for the week?
Thank you. I think I am. I've got some plans for the week, so thank you so much. Are you going to be on Wednesday at 6?
Fatima will be there Wednesday at 6. I'll be in partly tomorrow for some of the times tomorrow. Fatima
Okay.
will be there for some of the times tomorrow as well. But tomorrow is kind of like a sprint, a container, because sometimes for me, I join in some of my business masterminds, like we have these like just group work sessions. Like everybody is working on their own thing, but we just all are on the Zoom at the same time. And literally they have a timer on there for us, and we work in like a 30 to 45-minute thing. People are doing their own stuff, and then they break and we give out reflections on what we did during that time, and then they set another timer. So that's where this idea came from, because I found it very useful for me. So I was like, okay, we're going to try that here just to give another container so you can just write. Because to be honest, you all, like I was saying, like if you were to look at a transcript of speaking and such, like what is it? Like 5 hours-ish or 6 hours of speaking is like 110, 100 and something pages like that. So like, meaning like if you were talking to somebody, just talking, or if you were listening to an audiobook and the book is like 5 hours or so, 5, 6 hours, that's about 100-ish pages or such. I got to go back and make sure my calculation is right, but I think that's right. So what I'm saying is that you guys are so close. Like you're almost there. Like you're almost done. And if you give yourself the time, like it can be, boom, right. It can be done. All right. So that's going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time. Drop in, same Zoom link. So we'll do some breakouts. And then Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time will be the regular office hours time. Anything that you all want us to read, drop it into the Facebook group. So if you want us to read something, drop it into the Facebook group, with the exception of Brother Nazim. Brother Nazim is going to email his, but anybody else, please drop it into the Facebook group. And then that way we can, read it and give you a little bit of feedback that way, or at least read some of it and give you some feedback that way as well. All right. Any questions? All right. Love y'all. See you tomorrow or Wednesday. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Assalamu alaikum.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.